Do a lot of people come with it?
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Greg.
Thank you for coming. Tonight is our second Koinonia and Cocoa of the semester, and our last Koinonia and Cocoa of the semester. We'll be starting up again in the spring semester in February. Date to be determined and presenter to be determined.
Do I get to pick the presenter?
That's a possibility. That might be an idea to let the presenter pick the next presenter. I like that. So for those who don't know me, my name is Greg Meller, and I work in campus ministry. And for those unfamiliar with the term koinonia, this word is derived from Greek and has the following meanings: communion, community, joint participation, a gift jointly contributed, a collection, a contribution. In a Christian context, koinonia identifies the idealized state of fellowship and unity that should exist within the Christian church, the body of Christ. See, there's a candle here, and I'm going to light the candle. And the candle just serves as a reminder that, as always, we're in the presence of God, we're in the presence of the Spirit. I like to say when the candle gets blown out, that doesn't mean that the Spirit disappears. The Spirit's always with us and around us, but this just helps us to remind us that we're always in the presence of God. So tonight is an opportunity for all of us to open our hearts and our minds so that we may grow in faith as individuals and as a Moyne community. We are blessed to have Jeanne Murphy from the Moyne Athletic Department, where she serves as Associate Athletic Director and Senior Woman Administrator, a position which oversees NCAA compliance and student-athlete success. Jeanne has a rich history at Moyne and as a Dolphin. A 1995 graduate, Jeanne was a 4-year starting point guard for the women's varsity basketball team and team captain during her senior year. In 2000, Jeanne returned to Moyne to serve as the head women's basketball coach for 9 seasons, prior to taking her current position in athletics. Jeanne's presence and involvement on campus extend beyond the athletic department. Jeanne has participated in the Moyne Ignatian Leadership Forum and the Lenten program Meeting Christ in Prayer. She also oversees a program through mission and identity for student athletes, coaches, and athletic department staff. Further, she's a member of the EASE committee. The format for tonight is as follows. If you have not already done so, please help yourself to hot chocolate and marshmallows. Following Jeanne's presentation, there will be an opportunity for questions. If you would like to ask a question, we ask that you please write it down on one of the pink slips of paper at your table. Questions will then be collected and chosen for Jeanne to respond. That being said, it is my pleasure and privilege to invite Jeanne on stage to share her faith journey. Thank you, Jeanne.
Well, thanks so much. That was a really awesome introduction. Makes me feel kind of important. And I've had way too much coffee, so if I feel jittery, it's not that I'm nervous. And please feel free to fill the seats in front. I won't bite you, I won't throw anything at you. But thank you for having me tonight. It really is an honor and a privilege to be asked to speak at this awesome thing that campus ministry is doing. To see my name around campus, it's like, wow, I'm 41 years old. It's like, wow, I do have a story. I do have a lot of faith, and it goes really back, from when I can remember. So thank you for having me. Thanks for coming, taking your time out of your day. I know you guys are all busy, so normally I'm asleep at this time. So again, if I get going on something, don't be afraid to like do a movement or something, or raise your hand, or Kasha will help me out back there. I'm holding my phone because this afternoon, you know, Greg and Father Buckeye have been really helpful in guiding me a little bit in what I'd like to speak about. I don't want to be too lengthy, because if you go back and you start talking about your life, 41 years, it's a lot. There's a lot of moments, there's a lot of things that happen that form your faith that you didn't really realize at the time, but now you realize it as you get older, and it happens daily. So thank you, both of you, for helping me with your guys, and again, asking me to do this. But so I received a text message from my best friend from college, Mary Radford. She teaches here. She was our class valedictorian. She played on the soccer team, and she sent me a picture of this sign. She wrote a note, said, "Is this you?" So I wrote back, yeah. She said, what is your faith story? I said, I'm not sure yet. I headed to campus ministry right now. This is today. That is hilarious. Did you become a nun since the last time I saw you? Yes, you didn't see it on campus announce. I think a Jesuit spoke at the last one. She said, haha, about how the Shire called us to a more faithful lives. You guys know what a DeWitt Shire is, right? You will do great no matter what you talk about, but I have to admit, I did get a chuckle myself. I said, haha, no doubt, LOL. Walking in church now, thanks pants. So I was walking in about, what, 1:30 to sit down with you?
You were right on time.
I was right, I'm always on time. So anyway, so, and I got notes down here too. Talking about my faith, thinking back and doing some reflection, knowing that I'm gonna share things with you. There's so many moments that you remember that guide you in your path, and not realizing that it really is God's presence that's always with you. I'm not a super huge churchgoer. I wish I went to church more, and maybe I will someday. But God is always with me, and I know that. My faith is strong. When I look back at the reflection again, the things that stand out in my mind are that I know from when I can remember, I've always cared about people. I've loved people. I enjoy learning about people, getting to know them, what's their story. And I'm always very open to everything. New experiences, again, meeting people, learning about them. What's your story? Tell me about what you do, what makes you tick. So those things have kind of, those themes in my life have guided me. So I'm gonna break it up into 3 phases: childhood, and high school, college years, and after college. I don't want to say the real world, because it's all the real world, and that makes me sound old, so I'll just say after college. So my early childhood, my recollection is, I was from Johnstown, New York. Does anyone know where that is? Johnstown, New York. It's about 2 hours east of here. So it was a small town. My recollection is like running around the neighborhood, like literally all the time. Like you could then. And my brothers, when they were in charge of me, I had 3 older brothers, they never knew where I was. My mom would come home and say, where's your sister? And they'd say, I have no idea. She went running around. And it was like visiting people. My friends, old people that we knew in church who gave me cookies. I was just like visiting people because I like people. You know, I also remember I had to repeat 1st grade, which was very traumatic for me for about 5 minutes, and then I was on to the next thing. So yeah, I had Mrs. Pulver again, and again, I like loved my teachers, and but I remember church school, you know, and I remember going to church school, which was up the road, literally up the block, and it was kind of comforting for me to be there. Remember Father Barker, you know, his presence, and just being at church school, and it was. Not that I had a lot of stress when I was 5 and 6, but it was very comforting there. Now the thing that stressed me out was we were supposed to learn all these prayers, and I didn't do too well with them. So I always kind of felt like I was going to get in trouble if I was asked to recite a prayer. Unfortunately, I never really got in trouble, but I do remember going to church school. So my mom and dad separated when I was 3 or 4. I honestly don't really remember all the details. But my mom did remarry in 1980, and I was 7 years old. So we moved to the town next door, which is Gloversville. Has everybody ever heard of Gloversville? Where are you from?
I work up in the Adirondacks.
Okay, cool. All right, so we moved to Gloversville. So I had all this new turf to run around and like be outside, and I had all this new family, all these step cousins and aunts and uncles and a new step grandma and grandpa, and they all lived like on my street. So it was pretty awesome. You know, just really fortunate to have just all these people who love me around me. Let me look at my lunch really quick. I had a new school. So I started elementary school. So I started second grade because I took first grade twice at Leap Street in Johnstown. So I started second grade in Gloversville. And my new physical education teacher, Mr. Foster, he called my mom, and my mom thought I was in trouble. And he said, your daughter is like off the charts, like in all the sports, in like PE class. She's like better than all the boys. So that was pretty cool to have that recognition and start to be kind of identified as like having a gift and being good at something. Because I think we all, as we're growing up, we all kind of want to be good at something and accepted. So, you know, being in a new town with new friends, this was pretty cool. So as I emerged through elementary school and middle school, I was forming an identity of being an athlete. I still loved people. I was always like taking care of like my friends, and I remember sticking up for one of my girlfriends in the bathroom in middle school, and this tough girl like shoved me into the wall and everything, but I really was just sticking up for her. And yeah, I had to go to like the principal's office and tell the principal that like the girl swore and everything. And I was like, you know, so good. I was like, oh, I'm just sticking up for her. And so like I think of things like that just remind me that I was still the same person. So I took on this identity of being an athlete. That went into high school. I was fortunate enough to play varsity volleyball and basketball as a freshman all the way through. Got recruited by a lot of Division II schools. And one in particular school, Moyne College, the coach who I met in the summer was a lot different than the rest of them. The other coaches I talked to, you know, were really, I don't know, not as kind, they didn't seem like they cared about me as much as a person. And Coach Cooney, who was the coach here, it was just this sense of he cared about me as a whole person. Now, he went to Moyne College too, so he was a Moyne College product of Jesuit education. So I didn't know that at the time, but I felt very comfortable with him. It took a half-a-day visit to visit Moyne College, and it really wasn't a hard decision. A couple of girls on the team were very kind to me. They showed me a townhouse, and it was really done. It was like a done deal. I got a scholarship, so that was really cool. So, you know, my identity growing up was sports. I loved being outside. I loved nature, all seasons. You know, I was the kid that shoveled the driveway and I was out shooting baskets. And I still to this day love being outside. So anyways, taking into the college years, you know, it was, like I said, I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship and was coming here to play basketball. Now, the person who I just described as being outgoing and liking to talk to everybody, you wouldn't believe it, but the second I got on this campus and I had to talk to the admissions office, I was like Miss Shy person. So it was like, okay, Jeannie, what do you do extracurricular? And I literally couldn't remember anything. I play basketball. And I don't think I said anything else. And it was like, what happened to me? You know, I neglected to say, you know, I was captain of the team junior, senior year. Played AAU, you know, I did a lot of other things besides just play basketball, but this place intimidated me, believe it or not. In the classes, you know how you guys get a participation grade? Yeah, I got like 0. It's like, please don't call on me, please don't call on me. I can name the professors that did call too, and I'd be like, oh, please don't call on me. For whatever reason, it was like just this intimidation in the classroom, but not at the gym. So at 2:20 every day or 3:45 when those Tuesday, Thursday classes end, I was down at the gym and I was in my safe place, I was happy. That's where I talk to people. I still do it today. One of my noontime teammates over there, were we on the same team today? We were. We won a few games. That was my safe place. I was back in my comfort zone, playing basketball, making friends, people I didn't know. So the sport of basketball really, through college, taught me so much about life. It taught me responsibility, accountability, leadership skills, communication, resiliency, poise, time management, focus, commitment, courage, faith in people, believing in myself. You name the word, it taught me that, playing basketball. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to be handed the ball as a freshman and run the show. So I was really starting to realize how blessed I was with the gift that I had, that I could play basketball and do it well and represent a wonderful institution like Moyne. So one of the things that my coach did, which I really liked, and this is just a simple thing, is before the games we'd bring it in and we would say the Our Father. We didn't do that in high school because we weren't allowed to do that stuff. But I thought that was really just very grounding, and just a reminder of, why we're here and how blessed we are to all be here playing this game. So I really like that. I began a ritual myself. This is kind of personal, but I'll share it with you. We did that Our Father, but you know how you have to do something like play a game or if you do a performance, the last thing you do kind of is run to the bathroom just to make sure you don't have to go in the middle of it. So right before the game, you always go to the bathroom. So I would say the Our Father again in the bathroom. And just a quick prayer, like thanking me for where I was, not necessarily in the bathroom, but where I was in my life, being on the team, being at Moyne. And I really would start, like, please let nobody get hurt in the game, and whatever team is traveling, let them get home safely. So it's kind of elaborating on my prayers a little bit. So that, really, till today, I still, when there's quiet time or downtime, I'll just sometimes, and at night, I'll just say the Our Father, to just ease my mind. That's the prayer I do know. So, you're supposed to laugh. The other prayers, I have to look in the book. Sorry, Beth, I hear you back there laughing. So, thy rituals. I do that today, after college. So that's college. College, was awesome. I had a wonderful experience. Again, the bonds that I developed with the people here. And again, I did have mentors, Dr. Ward, Sean Ward, who I work with today, and what a wonderful person he has been in my life. His kids used to come watch me play. I remember when his son, Brian, was born in class. I had him for class. It was the only time I ever had a class canceled here. Believe it or not, I'm not even kidding. Tom Minch, my senior year, I used to actually have a pretzel with him on Tuesday, Thursdays down in the den. It was the old den. It's in the same place as the new den, but it was the old den. And he used to help me with what I was going to do with my life. I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was a psychology major, and I really wanted to coach basketball. But you can't major in that, so you really almost shy away from it a little bit, who's going to support this and where am I going to go now? But he totally got it, and he said, you know what, Jeanne, if you want to coach basketball, you need to go right down the street to Cortland, where it's a sports mecca. Get your master's in PE and go do your thing, and they will embrace you. So me being open, again, to people's advice, I took his advice. I went down there. I was lucky enough, assistant coaching position was open. The head coach embraced me. Little did I know how much experience I had being a point guard for 4 years. So it was awesome. I thought it was like Pat Summitt. I had my college shirt. No, really. And Mary, I roomed with Mary, the girl who sent me the text. We lived over in the Valley, first year out of college, and I had my red Cortland shirt, and I was like, I'm making $4,000. That's not what I'm like. But I was like, I thought it was Pat Summit. So we were celebrating and everything, and it was like my dream. I ended up getting a second undergrad in physical education because they don't let you get your master's in PE unless you have an undergrad in it. So really what I thought is I'll do this coaching thing, I'll go after that, but if it doesn't work out, I'll have the PE thing to fall back on. Because I really just wanted to work with people, with children, and teach them what I have gotten from sports, you know, which was all those things I mentioned before, and teach them, you know, what they can learn from playing a sport about life. So I did that time. That was 3 years at Cortland. I did the student teaching and everything. And then the stars were aligning again for me. I had a great opportunity at a small Division III school called College of Misericordia. Anybody ever heard of it? In Dallas, Pennsylvania. They're led by the Sisters of Mercy, and those people embraced me. They were so nice from the moment I stepped on campus for my interview. You know, it was just like a match made in heaven. It's like I sort of kind of knew, like, I really hoped it would work, but I was like, I think this is going to be a great place for me. So, you know, a little bit of a lower pressure to win. You know, it was like more like take care of the team, which was really up my alley of like taking care of people, because that's what I do. So my 2 years there was an awesome experience. We had a great staff. We used to go to Mass together. We used to sing the alma mater in Mass. We used to sing the alma mater outside of Mass. I won't sing it for you tonight because it's funny. But we went to lunch together. You know, it was just a really close-knit school, just like this one. And in my short amount of time there, and the only reason I left was because my phone rang, and my coach here at Moyne called me and said, you know, I thought something was wrong with him, but then he said, Jeanne, I'm retiring, and I want you to apply for the job because I know you'll take care of the girls and the team, and they need to be taken care of. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm only 28 years old. I can't run the program. I've only been gone 5 years. There's scholarships. I mean, I was in complete panic mode. But something deep down in here, believe it or not, I kind of knew, like, this is going to happen, and I'm going to be scared to death, and then I'm going to have like, scholarship thing's scary, because if you give a player money and they can't play, then it's like your team's not going to be good, and there's more pressure. So he was right again, so I applied for the job, and I was a perfect fit. So my dream came true, and I was back at Moyne College, and it was such an awesome opportunity to really give back. It was my dream to give back to the girls on the team that were just like me a couple years ago. I had gone to Moyne. I really could talk the school, the people, not really knowing what Moyne gave me, but it was always giving me that. And today I realize it was just God, like, pushing me down the right path all the time, making the right decisions for what was best for me, and the people that I hopefully have touched some lives, and because I know a lot of them have touched me. So my first year in college back here as a coach, I had something I wanted to touch on that. Oh no, that was it. I was so scared to death, but we did good. We did good. We won more games than we were supposed to. I only had 8 scholarship kids and 2 walk-ons, and we had so much fun. And we won 16 games. God sent a tremendous player in Jennifer Fair, just landed on our doorstep. She was my first recruit, and she, you know, was just awesome. She won games. I don't know if any of you remember Jeanne when she was here. She just won games with people like hanging on her back. So anyways, first year, I was scared, but it was fun. My second year here, September 10th, 2001, I closed on my house. I bought my own house. I had no money left in my checking account, like $200. So that was really scary. And you young people who haven't bought a house yet, it's kind of a big thing. So I bought a house, closed on it, didn't have any money left, and the next day was September 11th. and some of you young people may not. What grade were you guys in? Second, fourth, third? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so that wasn't good. That whole week was a blur. It was a tough year coaching, but if anything, our team was as close as it ever I can really remember. We had a wonderful group of girls, but they needed me. They needed me for guidance. I needed them. But I can tell you, I didn't have to motivate them to play. You heard the national anthem before the game, and we all had tears in our eyes. The whole season. It was incredible. It was so just a wake-up call, unfortunately, that we have to have these types of things happen for us to kind of really embrace like the things we get to do and be thankful and grateful. So we did really well that season. We made the NCAA tournament. So like I said, it was a wonderful group of girls, and I'll never really forget that season. My third season, November, I don't think the season has started yet. No, excuse me, October 28th. Unfortunately, my dad passed away, and he had been sick for about 2 years, and I really was trying to go see him a lot. So I was driving from here to Johnstown a lot, which is about an hour and 45 minutes. And I had an okay relationship with my dad. We didn't see each other a lot, but when we did, it was good. And I got all my athletic ability from him. So he really understood sports. He always wondered why I didn't coach like everything here. He's like, why don't you coach volleyball in this and that? I'm like, Dad, because you just don't do that in college. It's just, because he probably knew I could, but he, So we had some nice chats, but, I was progressively seeing him deteriorate. He was a smoker. He drank his whole life. So his lungs were going bad. He had to have a lung removed. So in those last 2 years, I kind of got a little bit closer with him. I know he regretted a lot of things, but it's just, again, I knew it was my time to comfort him. And say, Dad, you did the best you could, and everything's fine and perfect, so you don't have to worry about anything. Everything's fine. So I hope I helped him sort of go through a really, tough time of his health deteriorating. I know I cherish all the time I had with him and the things he blessed me with of his athletic ability. So a significant moment, I haven't really I talked about a lot of my story, but when my dad passed away, I got the phone call from the hospital. They said, you need to come. They won't tell you on the phone if someone's passed away. So my half-sister who lives in Seneca Falls called me, said, yeah, we're on our way. So I was just ahead of them on the thruway. When I got to the hospital, I went up the elevator. My Aunt Arlene and my half-brother David were coming into the elevator, and they didn't have to say a word. I knew from their faces that he was gone. And so we went back down. I didn't go in the room, and I said, well, I'm going to wait for Debbie. So Debbie's my half-sister. So they were on their way. So we chatted, and and I know he went so that, because I probably would have been scared to be with him. I firmly believe when those things happen, like they know, kind of. So it all worked out okay. So anyway, Debbie and I went up in the room, and her husband Doug, and my dad was laying there, but it didn't look like my dad. It was just it was like just a body, and I was like upset, but I'm like, that's not my dad, And right then and there, I knew right away, like his spirit was gone, and really, it's like his spirit was in heaven, and it's forgot casing, It's it was just like a really significant time that kind of moved me, But I knew everything was okay. I knew he was in heaven, and we had a tough life. So, anyways, that was while I was coaching, and my team was very supportive when I came back. They were worried about me, but of course I took over because I'm the coach, and I was like, I'm fine. Of course everything's fine. But so. 9 years pass. I'm head coach. 9 years go by. I get married in the meantime to my wonderful husband, David, who I love, who supports me unequivocally with everything I do. I have 3 stepchildren, so I kind of have an insta family, two boys and a girl, and I have an opportunity to move into full-time administration and step away from coaching. So my whole life, as you've heard for the last 15 minutes, has been sports. It's all I've ever done, it's all I've ever known. So to make that decision to step away was kind of a hard one, but the opportunity to touch more lives and give back to more people just kept guiding me that that was the right decision to make. I worked with 12 or 13 women all the time. Those were my children, like my team. And the opportunity to work with all the student athletes just was really like, I want to do that. I want to help more people. So I moved into full-time administration, the student athlete success piece. My position was kind of a new position, so it wasn't really defined. But as we've moved into the next couple years, it's my fourth year doing this. I've had an opportunity the last couple years to do mission and identity with the student athletes, which has been really, really awesome. Kind of like really up my alley as far as, you know, the foundation of what the Jesuits believe in. Cura personalis, magis, discernment, the practice of reflection. Cura personalis, taking care of a whole person. All athletes, you know, this is the stuff I'm talking about with them, and they're like, what? Huh? What's Jesuit school? You know, like, so to plant the seeds for them, I feel is just so helpful. I wish that was done for me at the time in my life where I sort of was a sponge. I still am a sponge, but I think it would have even helped me progress more. So, you know, magis, striving for excellence in everything you do. You know, being engaged, talking with the student athletes about, do you know the difference between sitting in class and paying attention and not paying attention? You know, that, you know, be engaged in everything you do, every moment of your life. You just try to be engaged and learn from it. Your coaches, you know, you have the practices where everything's clicking, everything's perfect, every pass is crisp, every catch everything. Like, how does that happen? Try to create those moments. You know, what creates those? You know, alleviating the amount of stress you have in your life. So we move into the practice of reflection. Taking time to reflect and decompress and literally unplug from these things and your computer, to take the time and think about your day. What went well, what didn't go well, what I want to do tomorrow, and I really want to make sure I talk to my professor about this, and I really need to thank my parents about this, and be more intentional with your actions so that your day's not like, I like the expression Father McCallum uses, like a pinball machine. You know, a pinball machine where you're just like ding, ding, ding. And we have days like that where you can't control it, but try to not have those days, but be more intentional in those things. So the practice of reflection, and athletes do it, but they kind of do it like after they compete a lot, and you tend to focus on the negative. So we talk about focuses on positive, what do we want to be? And my second year students talk about gratitude, presence, preparation. So getting a lot more feedback from the students who've gone through the first year of, am I going over time? I'm almost done, yeah. Perfect, okay. So the work with the student athletes is awesome. Greg mentioned I work with the Ignatian Forum Group, and I did the 8-week Meeting Christ in Prayer group. And those things that I got involved with, if you have an opportunity to get involved with those things, I know there's a lot of people who run them, but the students over here, take advantage, be open to that. It was the most impactful thing that I've done here, to check in personally, professionally, and spiritually in those groups, to really focus on those areas and really understand that the spirituality, what's in my heart, is what guides me in everything I do. And our group sort of figured that out by the end of it. We figured that out. and it's helped me with everything I've done. The 8-week meeting Christ in prayer during Lent, we had to commit to meditating. No, I'm not using the right word. Reflection for an hour a day. I cheated. I only did like 30 minutes, sometimes only 45, but God forgave me. I'd get up. The only quiet time really was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I gotta go read my Bible." And he's like, "What are you doing?" But I tell you, it was so awesome. And I get up early. I got up at 4:40 today, not intentionally, but it was awesome. Take advantage of those opportunities while you're here at Moyne. It'll change your life. And do it sooner rather than later. I hope the things I've talked about, I know I'm running out of time. I am out of time. But with all that reflection, I know my faith story, I know at 41 years old now, God has always been with me. He's always been guiding me. I may not go to church all the time, I may not be a nun, but I know that, God is and Jesus are, guiding me along the way. And there are no guarantees in life, so, I just try to live a good life, be a good person, and, the themes of my life, caring for the whole person, caring for people, and being open. I hope they continue to guide me in the right direction. So thank you, everybody, for your time. Thanks.
So thank you so much, Jeanne, for your words of wisdom and for sharing your story. You gave us plenty to think about, to reflect on, ways that we can kind of look back at our own lives, or whether they're 18 years or 40 years,
I know.
or a little bit longer. So we're going to have about a few minutes now to allow you to write down questions. Feel free to get some more hot cocoa and marshmallows, and then we'll have about a 10-15 minute question and answer period with Jeanne. So thank you.
Thanks. Did I do okay? I don't never talk that long. I know we did. I didn't even know. No, I
Peace out.
No, you're good.
Okay. You were told that by a lot of people. Not just me.
It's cold. It's a
Question?
It's yellow.
Any questions? It's a question. It's a question.
Here's something.
I quit my seat.
You want to help me move?
Have hot chocolate. Marshmallows. Come sit down. We're on a break right now. Any more questions? Preguntas. We got a couple of questions.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome back from the
Are you ready
break.
for this?
Oh yeah.
We are now. Okay, cool.
This is good too.
Did you just come?
Yeah.
You gotta ask a question then.
So, Jeanne, I will read a couple of questions one at a time to you, and you can respond
Okay.
as you'd like. So,
Okay.
question number one is, when were you able to overcome the, quote, intimidation factor, end of quote, of Moyne? How did you do it?
That's a good question. Intimidation of the professors. God, I still have it a little bit, to be honest with you. All those degrees they have. I would say probably more in my junior year, as our team became like pretty good. Like we were pretty good junior and senior year, gave me the confidence. You know, just we were winning. Winning actually does do a lot for you as an individual. Walking around, you just kind of feel like a winner. Gave me the confidence. I was in really good shape. So I think junior year, I probably did talk to my professors a little more. I didn't talk in class. It would be more like in the hallway. I was not, you know, I had a professor here, Mario Sands. Did anyone ever have? I don't understand a word he said in class, and he called on me once, and I'm like, I don't even know what you asked me. I'm not, that's a true story. I'm like, the sun and the moon. I'm like, yeah, it's a very junior year. Yeah, and I mean, basketball helped me with that, believe it or not.
Jeanne, another person asked, do you find opportunities to share your faith with student athletes, and how? I know you mentioned the mission identity thing, but are there other ways that?
Yeah, so with the mission and identity, this year, they're broken up into groups, so I'm meeting with all first-year students. So they're much smaller groups, and then I have all the upper-class students, so we're doing different programming. And I do share a lot of more personal things. Most of them don't know that I coached or played, or just like the old lady. Kasha and I are like the old, like, well, not old. We're not old. We're not old. But we're older than you guys. So I do share some personal things there that I think, you know, it helps them get to know me better, makes them feel more at home, you know, here at Moyne. And then, you know, I think just the personal relationships. What I'm trying to do in those meetings is I'm trying to learn everyone's name. And I actually have the rosters up on my wall, which Kasha sees. I have everyone's picture up on my wall. I'm trying to learn their names. So when I see him in the hallway, I can say, hey, Jordan, what's up? He says, hey, Jeanne, you know, so we're trying to teach each other to do that, to make that connection quicker. And then they feel so, I feel like the student, since I've done that, the student athletes feel a lot more comfortable with me, where they'll come to me with other things that they might not feel comfortable going to their coach with, like a mother hen kind of. So, yeah.
Here's somewhat of more of a lighthearted question, or maybe a heavy one. How do you feel about yesterday's game?
The women's basketball game? Oh my God, I might start crying. I didn't even get into this because we didn't have enough time, but who asked that question?
It wasn't me. I'm not going to write it now.
So our new coach, Gina Castelli, I went to her basketball camp all through high school, like going into 9th grade. She was at Siena College, and so we go way back. And as you heard in my story, I love basketball. Like, so going to basketball camp was like the highlight of my summer, to go and play basketball all day. And Gina was there. You know, Gina, if you haven't met her yet, she's a wonderful person. You know, spoke at camp. I loved her then, and then when I coached, I'm not answering the question, but I'm getting to that. I worked her camps for 10 years, all through coaching. So, and that was like, everyone who worked Gina's camp, we had a blast. I mean, we taught the kids all day, and then we stayed up all night long, like having a good time because the staff was so much fun. Gina wasn't there with us because she was running the camp, so she was behaving. But we had so much fun. So watching Gina coach the women yesterday was just awesome to see her on the sideline, and the way that it's come full circle, because I kind of wanted to play for Gina at Siena, but she had a bunch of point guards, and I probably wasn't good enough to play there. No. You know, anyway, it all worked out. I came to the right school. So we go way back, so it was awesome. It was really great to see the ladies play with a lot of spirit and win. You know, it's my alma mater, it's my team, so it's awesome. Okay.
I think we're running low on time, and I know they have a trivia.
Thank you.
Once again, I just want to thank Jeanne Murphy for
Trivia night's big,
Disney,
huh?
Disney trivia night.
Disney. I'm going to Disney in December.
The next Koinonia and Coco will not be till February, and again, the date will to be determined and presenter to be determined. thank you all for coming out, and I hope you enjoyed trivia.
Woo!